You can start us off.
Oh, no music?
Oh, no, we're live on YouTube. So just to let you know, just hang on because I'm getting ready to go live on
everybody.
Ecamm.
How you doing over here?
I'm going live to Ecamm, but Ecamm is bouncing and acting up a minute. So hold on.
All right.
So everybody who's watching us over on YouTube, thank you.
Thank you for tuning in. And today we're going to be talking about the Hustler.
The Hustle Chronicles.
and Coach Karen's is joining us today to talk about that. And we're going to be starting very, very shortly. So go get your pencil and pen, your coffee, tea, water, whatever.
Get yourself a glass of water.
That's it.
And we're rolling live to Facebook now.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. This is BizChicks TV. This is the place where you can find tips and tools to help you do business better. We're here to help you run a profitable business that's fun to run and to take the hassle out of your hustle. And today I'm joined by my co-host, Ms. Francine Gregory, real estate entrepreneur and tech diva, and our money mindset coach, Ms. Karen Fern, all the way from Toronto, Canada. Island Girl Hustle. She's going to be talking to us about the Hustler Chronicles. And so we want to get started so she can take us into our first case study. I'm Terralina from California Cover-Ups, and we're the BizChicks. Welcome to the show. And for those watching by the replay, thank you for coming back and giving us an opportunity to share. So without further ado, I want to introduce Ms. Karen Fern, our money mindset coach. Hi, Karen. How you doing?
Hi, Terry. Thanks, friend. Thanks, Terry, for allowing me to come here every Wednesday and share my good news. Mm-hmm. And this whole month of May, we're talking about the Hustle Chronicles. And what that is we're diving into success stories and showcase the problem, showcase the solution, showcase where they are at the moment and in time. And life has a lot of wrinkle in it, but if you're willing to stay through it, it's really beautiful, a beautiful thing. We get to complaining about different things, whether it's the sun shining out here, but it's still chilly, or the wind blew off so many people's rooftops, and I mean, quite a few of my neighbors just had their roofs done not a couple of months ago. Just before the winter, and it's by a good company, and I know they're coming back in, and some went in a couple of days ago, but that wind was so strong that it hit the shingles off. We lost some too, so we're gonna have somebody coming in this week also to check on it. But trees came down, our fence came down, there was trees in the street on cars. It was wow. But nobody got hurt. Everybody's alive and well, so that's a good thing. So that's the good parts we have to look at. So just mentioning that as to say, things happen to us, but we have to bounce right back, and we have to be in a hustle. And we were saying earlier that hustle is not a bad word. And if they're taking it to that place, we want to bring it back and show you how, it's actually a good word to have. It keeps your juices flowing. It keeps you wanting to move and not get too comfortable. We're so happy to be comfortable, but really, we lose so many parts of us when we're in our comfort zone. We don't really grow much. We're not stretched. We're like, okay, so I got my bed, my comforter is I'm happy. I don't have to worry about anything. So today we are talking about Anna's journey. Mm-hmm. And on this specific Chronicles, give me 1 second, ladies. Mm-hmm.
So every day, every week of the month of May, we are going to be going over a success story. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that's the idea. And we're following the journey because it just helps us to see where they start, what's happening in that little muddy area before it takes us into the solution. And the reason I love journeys is because we really get to see and be a part of somebody else's that has happened. And if you're in the muddy's water right now, if you feel like, you're drowning and you can't get up, I want you to know it's a possibility. Last week, talked a little bit about the fairy tales and how we see the end. And pretty much our lives, and everybody who wrote those stories, who wrote any kind of story, it's a part of them that's come to life just in a story form so that they can take the light off of themselves in many areas. But we would never know unless we interview them and they feel like opening up. So Anna's story is about this girl who was at college. So this is a little different. It's not fully on business, but I wanted to have a variety. So we're not only dealing with business, because we know on the internet streets that there's people who's in a job and who's just worried in that job. And they might not even want to start a business, but I wanted to bring this also to the table. So Anna was a girl in college. And she was stressed about money because one of the good things about Anna is she had researched and realized that if you take out a loan for college, it's more than if you work and pay for college. And that's something that's not advertised because, of course, they rather you take out a loan. But if you were to go in and investigate, you'd recognize that you'd probably save yourself 50% by earning your college money. And nobody talks about that because, again, it's not supportive of what they want to do with us. So we go in there, we get the monies, and then we finish university or college, and then we're like, oh my God, I got this big deal. Not understanding that when you are paying out of your pocket, and I used to work in the office at a college, so I know a little bit about the financial area of things. When you pay out of your pocket, you pay for your semester, that semester. You get into class and your professor tell you what kind of books you need. You pay for insurance. All those things are covered in your fees. But there's things within the fees that you can itemize and ask if it's necessary, and they will tell you yay or nay. And if you take them out because you know they're not needed, all of a sudden your fees is not as high anymore. You see, they don't tell you everything that's in those fees because they just want you to pay the whole thing. And when you got a loan, you don't stop to think about that because, hey, they give me thousands of dollars. I could pay it, and they know it. So it's a getting around in the back door and having your pocket. So she was a little ahead of the time in understanding that's the scenario that I just placed there. So she decided to work she worked through high school. After high school, worked for a year, saved her money to at least get the first 2 semesters paid for, and she was fine. But once she got to college, she realized that, hey, college hours is not what I thought it would have been. So it was conflicting on her part-time job to support the idea. Again, another way that we, if you don't know, you decide, well, I need a loan because I can't get back to work. And I can't get to work on time and there's a problem. And we know here at BizChicks, we love solving problems. So part of why I come and talk about this is problems that were solved. So if you're in this, all your horses, there's ways to solve this. So we sat around and we discussed what is she supposed to do. School finishes at 4. It takes an hour to 2 hours to get to her job. How is this possible? And we started looking at areas in the company. Where else could she go? What else could she do? The hardest part was she being a receptionist in the evening and not wanting to give up without she understanding deep down inside the prestige of being able to be at a desk versus taking a job that is not at a desk. So once we started looking at her options, one of the things we recognized, she was being paid about $12 an hour as a receptionist. But if she left the receptionist desk and she went and cleaned in the office, she would make $15 an hour. Mm-hmm. But if you come in and you're dressed and you're looking nice, you wouldn't believe it. And we only get to investigate that because one day she was there and I said she was late and the cleaning crew let her in and she got in there and she started talking with them because I said to her, and you guys know I say this all the time, everybody you see, be friends, start talking to the people. Be friendly. You never know where it's going to lead you. And from conversation, And she being nice to them and saying, you don't have to take my garbage, or she would empty it out for them. The conversation started. And next thing you know, she's talking to the lady and they told her how much they're making per hour. And she brought it back to the discussion. And I was like, if they'll hire you, you want to give up the reception. You don't want to look pretty and broke. You want to look whatever, because nobody's seeing you, because you're going to school to get this paper to do whatever you really, really want to do. This is temporary. So we set out a 2-year plan for her to be able to switch jobs, be in the job that pays more money. That was the first. The second thing about the second job was, it was a later time to start. So she had no problem with getting there. So she was able to do that. So I've got my little, because I'm an artist, and the Chronicles is going to come with props.
I love it. I love it. You see, you got us laughing already. We're looking forward to the drawings. Okay, so what's happening here? That's
Anna. She's in college. She's stressed. And she's got a lot of crazy days because she's busy scrambling to get to work, get assignments done, because she got to be paid because of what we talked about before. So this is Anna's college life, right? And that's what's happening. On the second screen, we have here where Anna got a new job. And now she's able to create that happiness plan we talk about so much.
Oh, yes.
Because of the better pay.
See, I like that. The better pay leads to a better happiness plan.
Now, I missed the last. Could you put that slide back up, please? Thank you. What was that last point?
She got a new job. The happiness plan was activated, and now she's got better pay.
Yeah.
Nice.
I like that. And really and truly, it brought out her happiness. She was way more perkier. She was coming to school, wanting to be there and not worried about time. Because time was big and money was big. And she had this plan. As I said, she didn't start off not knowing anything. It's just that she got to this place and she felt stuck. And what should I do? Should I get into the loan entrapment? But this is what I worked so hard for all year not to do. Or could I continue working and go to school? And so that when I'm graduated, I don't have a loan. That was key for her, because she had witnessed, her dad take out a loan and struggle to pay it. She witnessed her mom taking out a loan and struggle to pay it. And she just didn't want to be there.
Can I interject something here? There's a lady that walks with us, and she said her grandfather, he's 80-something, going on his 90s, he still has a student loan. He's a very accomplished professional.
Right.
But the student loan does not go away if you don't. And he got it back a long time ago.
Yes. That's how long, look at it. That's how long ago it is. And it's scary because most students don't know this before they enter in. So they get the loan and then they don't know what to do once they're in there with the loan, right? And then, they promise you here forgiveness. But then when you do get to the table, maybe $100 or $200 they'll take off, but nothing much. It's just a pack of lies upon a pack of lies. Sorry. So much lies. So people are just drowning from these sorts.
And you cannot declare it in bankruptcy. Bankruptcy does not get rid of it. And in the United States, it's such a bad thing, the way that whole loan system thing is for college. I was like, that's like inviting the monsters and the zombies to come take up in your house, because you're putting all that stress on you and you're bringing it in, not knowing, like, oh, I'm going to get my books and I'll have a little extra money to do something else with. No, you're bringing monsters into your own house.
Yes, and in the United States, we moved those loans from a federal agency, Sally Mae, and we privatized them. And so, along with privatization, of course, the lobbyists decided that you should not be able to write them off in bankruptcy, because a lot of people were going to med school and different things, which took a lot of education, and it was very expensive. And then after, certain years of practice, they just had to declare bankruptcy. So continue to function.
Yeah, because you're just spinning your tail. And what it does to your mind more than anything else, knowing that this is there, it's hanging over your head, you can't get rid of it. The thinking, it's in your thoughts, it's in your conversation, it's in everything you do.
And you can't
bigger and bigger.
And you can't enjoy your happiness plan because you got monsters in the closet.
Plan because it's sucking up all of the surplus.
Yes.
And what happens is we're finding that a lot of millennials have had to come home and save to get started. Whereas before you went from school to work to your own place, and they just can't get a leg up because of this debt.
Exactly.
So what Anna do? Since Anna, because Anna was smart.
So one of the things that we started looking into once we got the job situation set up, the time and the money and the plan was in place, our second step was starting to look for all the bursaries and all the grants that was available. So, and this is another thing, they give you the book, but they know most college kids are so busy enjoying themselves, they don't pay attention to it. So we spend a good 2 weeks looking at the best places to apply and the best things that was suited. You can keep your grades to a certain level and get a grant. You can be this kind of student and get back. You can volunteer and keep your grades and get back. So all that was allowed, we applied to. Have her apply to everything that was available. Because if you got 2 or 3 out of them, you're good. That's all you need. Every semester, your plan is to look to see what grants is available, whatever is available, and apply. Do not worry about how many. Just apply once, you qualify for it. Your job now is to keep your grade up to qualify for it. Whatever that situation is, most of them are based on grades. Very few, it's just income, but the majority was grades. And then you just apply for them, and you get, if you apply for 20, you're guaranteed to get at least 2, sometimes 5. And 1 doesn't take away from the other. If they know that this person gives you a grant, there's no reason you won't get the other grants once you qualify.
Yeah,
some of them you have to go in front of a board, at least here in Canada.
Karen, did you know that a lot of Americans are coming to Canada to go to school because it is so much less than it costs to go in the States? And it's right over the border. So they're just
and it's still here. I mean, but still, it's still cheaper. But and those things are available. But sometimes we get caught up in college life and that sort of stuff, and we're not reading into these things. Or we might say to ourselves, I can't. Let's say you went to the first semester, you're struggling in school. Well, you should plan for next semester to do better. And in Canada here, to do better means you go to the library. They will give you freely a tutor to help you. Time management. I used to help with money. And they had different departments, like you yourself, if you know you're good at something, you should use that as your volunteering voice to help somebody else, because then in turn it will help you for one of those grants that I'm talking about.
And I'm going to interject something in here that I haven't talked about for a while. The University of the People. They just contacted me again and said, hey, we see that you haven't completed your studies. You can feel free to come back. Well, it only costs you $50 to start. And you only pay, I think when you're finished taking all of your tests for a 2-year degree in BA in business administration, you're going to end up paying $4,000. And I'm thinking, why do not a lot of people know about this?
Yeah, because I didn't know about it.
And I was like,
they have distinguished faculty too.
Yes, and it's computer sciences and business administration, and you still go through all the same courses, and they still have all of the same. What are they called? Regents and people they got people from Yale and Harvard and everything who's over everything.
Is this online?
Yes.
Yes.
So therefore, there's no excuse to get to do it too.
It's called the University of the People. If I was doing their marketing, I would have tried to find a different name. But okay, it is what it is. And I was like, really? And that's it. You have to have a proxy for some of the tests that you take. You are going to do the work. You have to spend 15 hours for whichever course that you're taking.
There's no getting away from that.
No.
You have to do work. You have to do work.
And it's not a proxy, it's a proctor.
A proctor. But yes, a proctor.
Somebody sitting in for.
Okay, not a proxy, a proctor. So you're not getting away with not doing it. It is a legitimate, accredited university.
I think we want to emphasize that.
It is accredited.
Yes, because that would be important. That would be important. Yes, you want to know that's what's.
Hey, Pat Murray's joining us all the way from Durham, North Carolina. Got it right. Okay. So I just wanted to throw that in there because there is an alternative to student loans.
Amen. Amen. Okay. So I'm glad Fran mentioned that because I didn't know. And this is a great thing about us.
They have a master's program too, didn't they?
Yeah.
So you can get a BA or a master's.
Yep. You know,
you can go 2 years
when you share
or 4.
stories, you get to hear other things get melded into the pot. And this is great stuff. And if you're thinking of going back to school, it's never too late. First of all, if that's what you want to do.
Yes.
And we're not telling you to do it, but if that's what you want to do, and we're telling you ways to do it, and we're giving you these ideas so you can take it and do what that you feel that you need to do for you. That's the idea of it.
Yes, and you will learn something. Every time you go anywhere, you can learn something from every experience. So
every experience.
Go for it.
And now it leads right into what I'm going to talk about next. We're talking about Anna's life after college. You know, and that's where we're ending into. So this is a nice leeway into that. And Anna's life after college, because we all know that when you finish college, there's no job dingling waiting on you. There's application process, there's resumes, there's interviews. And in the meantime, she still had this cleaning job, you know, that she can go into in the afternoon. So she still have the full day for job search and meeting people. But one of the best things that happened from having this evening job is that somebody at work had seen her and just had loved her, but didn't know how to approach her. And when she was doing the kind of job that she didn't think she would meet anybody, guess what? She met somebody. God is always working such mysterious ways because he set up all this process. He is working in the background. There's no doubt. And so the first time he approached her, he said to her, you know, so I've seen you, but I wasn't sure how to approach you. He felt easier. She's more relaxed. That's what he's getting. He didn't realize at the time his stress had her seem a certain way. Now he's seen her in a different light because she's more relaxed. She's joking with her fellow co-workers. She's having a good time. She is, okay, I know I need a job in my profession, but I'm not going to die in the meantime. Versus if she was, as the receptionist, as the secretary that she was stressed nonstop. And this had lessened her stress. And so she met somebody there, where we're at slide number 3. She met Murray, and, you know, she found a boyfriend. They got engaged in this job. Now, if you think about it as face value, right? Why wouldn't she meet somebody when she was a receptionist? Because she's looking good, he's in a good position, it makes more sense to the naked eye. But he wanted a person who he could relate to. He wanted somebody who is easy to talk to. He don't want somebody who's high stress, because we don't know his life yet, because I'm not bringing that yet into the picture, right? So that's what was happening. He sees somebody who's having fun, who is happy with themselves, and this is somebody I can talk to. And so they started dating, you know, they started going out, they started having a good time, and started realizing that he took the same program she took in school, but she would have never known that. So this was his pit stop. This was not his place this was just a pit stop for him. But you see, he had to stop there to meet his wife. And again, God is in the background just because he done set this up. We're just filling in the spots. Really, we're just filling in the spots. You know, and I was lucky. I count myself lucky to have been on this journey, through this joyous, painful, windy, bendy road, this whole journey. So, you know, it was a privilege to be there. And so while they're there and they're looking, he's at his pit stop job. So we'll talk a little bit about the fiance. You know, he was in this pit stop, and from one thing to the next, I got introduced to him because she's like, you want to talk to her? She will tell you if this is your pit stop, you need a conversation. And it took us a while before we get to talking. And he told me what his true heartfelt was. You know, he wanted to start his own business. But anybody he talked to said to him, stay in a job, get paid, don't worry the business thing. People fail left, right, and center. So he couldn't see himself owning his own business physically, but it was in his heart of hearts. So what did he do? He spent the next year, nearly 2 years, applying to the police force to get into the police force. And every time he applied, he would pass the test, he would pass the physical and the written, but he wouldn't get accepted. And he would apply, and he would apply, and he would apply. And finally, you know, he came back and he said, I'm like, what is it you said you want to do? If you're going to do what you say you want to do, you can't get into the force. It wouldn't allow you to do this.
And the door closes.
Yes. It is not a failure, but it is redirecting you to where you need to be.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. Because a lot of people, they keep trying to force the door open, but you've already told God, the universe, and everybody else that you want to go start a business, but you keep trying to go get a job with the police department and the door keeps closing. And you're like, how come I'm not getting this job with the police department? Because you said you wanted to start a business.
I tell you, he was at the gym. We helped him study for the test. We did the mock test. He passed the test, and then he would either fail the psychology part, or I think the last straw was they told him they're just hiring minority. He's a white guy, so he couldn't. And he was like, "Come on!" Like, of all the things, literally, they said to him, "We're only hiring minority in this batch." And he's like, "Really?" He's like, "Karen, this could not be." I said, "You wanted to be in business. You wanted to be in business, you know."
Wow.
But we devised a plan because we decided together that if he wanted to try one last time, but while he was studying to try to get into the force, we started developing a plan because they were engaged by then. She came to me again because they were looking to buy a home. And because he had a full-time job versus her, he had more money and she wanted to go into the home as equal partnership. That was her goal. She didn't want to go in with him with more. And because the business was still part of his heart, even though it wasn't known to the public, we had the plan. So most people said, well, what's the plan? What's the plan? The plan is the happiness place. It's the happiness plan activity, what I call the budget, where we renamed to the happiness plan. So we sat around and we put all the cards on the table. What's in RRSP? What's in savings? What is just hanging around? What is spent on coffee and tea? Where you go every week? What do you do for activities? How much rent you paying? Who are you paying it to? Yes, we've dived really, really deep. But guess what come out of that? Guess what come out of that? He learned that in 6 months, he could quit his job and go to school full time.
Just by knowing.
Read because it is crazy when I recommend it. And I was crazy to recommend it. Ain't gonna lie. But he had the faith. He knew what he wanted. And if nobody else understood, the three of us were coming together and believing that this is what he needs, and this is how we're going to support him, and this is what we're going to do. Okay. He could have stayed at his job. He really could have. But he couldn't have. But in the plain height, in the eyes, we were seeing physically he could. But mentally, he wouldn't have been able to do it. And physically, he wouldn't have been able to do it. So we had to deal with the mind. We had to deal with the money. And we had to deal with his physicality. Now, the plan to buy a home. I've stated on the plan to buy a home. If we're getting married. Remember, this is a girl where we started off. She doesn't like debt. So therefore, there's no loan for the marriage. There's no debt. The only debt they're willing to take on is the mortgage. And they want to put down a substantial amount of money. So A, she needed to keep working where she was working. He had a bit of a savings he needed to get in school. And we need to sit down and look at everything. Everything. The ugly, the one you're hiding, any little thing in the corner had to be dusted off. And the 6 months is to clear up any debt anyway, any credit card, anything. That's what we looked at. Got him to go into the school and really talk to a financial advisor in the school and find out how much for his program. And now will somebody tell you.
Keep going. I got to step away from
Now let somebody tell you. Into the finance. Get in there. Talk to them. Find out how much it costs you and how much it actually costs you. Not the number you just see. How much? Detail. They might tell you have to make a new appointment to come back in to do it. But these are things that is there for us. But sometimes we don't even know it's there because everybody just goes in and come back up. Get in there. This is a 4-year program. He had to go back to school for what he wanted to do. He wanted to be own a machinist shop. I don't know what you guys would call it over there, but it's the same thing.
Same thing.
Same thing. Okay. And so it's a 4-year degree he needs. But here's the sweet spot. They got 2 kinds. He can go to school for a year. They can help him find a job within that year. He can come out of school, work in the shop with whoever he gets to qualify.
Apprenticeship.
Apprenticeship for a full year. Going back and checking in at school. Go back in for another year. Come back out and do the same thing. Had he not went in, he would have signed up for the 4-year.
Yes.
That is not financially sound to do because of what he wanted to do. So when he got into the shop, he got a chance to see how it's run from a business point of view. Of course, not the first year, but he gets this because he knows what he's looking for because of the conversation that happened before. So he's going in with the idea. He came back. He said, "This is what I need to do. This is talk about it." When you're in the shop, you gotta be your eyes have to be peeled. You gotta go in to learn. You gotta keep your ears open. And you're gonna have a lot of conversations.
Yes, he was looking at the systems.
Yes.
Okay, and the processes.
Yes.
Under internship, and that's what an internship is.
Yes.
To show you, yeah.
But you know how many people go on internship that already come out? They come out and get a job because they're learning the process. They're learning what you're talking about, but they're not learning anything business mind because it's a job when they're done that they're looking for. But if you're going to start your own business, you want to see it from different eyes.
Yes.
You know, and so that's why the plan going in is really important. They have to stick with their budget, their happiness plan, which means he loves steak. We had to take some steaks away. You can get steak once or twice a month. That's it. We still want to keep you eating healthy.
But isn't that amazing how we eat our seed?
You tell me. Say that again, Terry.
We eat our seed. I have some extra. Let me get a better piece of meat, or let me, buy a better pair of shoes, or as opposed to let me save this and plant it somewhere so that when I really need it, I can tap into it for what I can't foresee. Whether it's something pleasant or an emergency or whatever. We just use up every penny.
Every penny. And I mean, just from those simple things, they start seeing how much money was going to the supermarket, how much money was going to places that really wasn't necessary. And just from doing all of that, they were able to do, and the list was long, I'm not going to pretend here, but she she had gotten the job in her field, which paid quadruple what she was making, which allowed them, because here's the other thing they didn't do. They fill up their slots with what they needed to do, and they didn't not do it because of events. So if an event came up, they look after the event, but they continue, which means her grandmother got sick.
No.
They looked after that, but they kept at what it is we planned it out.
Well, that's because when you have a written plan,
yes,
you can get back to it.
Yes. Thank you.
You know what I mean? It's sort of like when you're traveling somewhere.
Yeah.
If you have to take a detour, at least you know what road you're going to come back to continue the journey.
Exactly. So here at our guys, number 4. So having followed the plan, a little.
I love it.
I'm just having fun with it.
And we're having fun too. So she's her Anna and what's his name?
Maury. Within that time, she got the great job. They got married. They bought their first house. Now, when you have your plan, you're not going and spend $25,000 to get married. That also changes things.
Yeah.
You know, you're looking for the place that's going to make the most sense to be married at and have the people who really mean the world to you attend the wedding. You're not trying to impress anybody. You're going to a place and we search hell and high water. We find a place who cater for the food, the hall, everything you want at a really great price that it's in their pocket to buy. They had to move a little further, but they got a home, a townhouse that was in their budget to buy because they wanted to go into their homes. This was a young couple who, this was their first time with each other, and they didn't want to be at anybody's house or an apartment. This is what they wanted to do. One of the other hard things I had to make them do, and this was hard for both of them, but you know what, they were such good sports because when we put the numbers down to pay for the wedding, and I'm telling you all this because I want you guys to know this is no hold back in just pretending this is just happening, okay? This was no small feat to pay for the wedding for cash and to put down on the home and be able to carry the mortgage while he is in school. And these things are possible because this is stuff, this is real life stuff, okay? We had to involve his mother, which is her mother-in-law. We had to bring her into the equation, and here is the reason why. She lived in a condo. She was about to retire. She was a nurse, and she was debating what next to do. And I said, can we bring her in the equation? This is a 3-bedroom townhouse. She can rent a room from you guys. It's a couple. You don't need 3 rooms right away. You're not getting kids right away. And so they approached her. She agreed. We work out the terms because that was important. They're a newly married couple. They needed to have time for themselves. And for her to be in this home, it had to be, some rules had to be in place. And each person had to agree. So we had a contract drawn up because I'd done this with my kids before. So I thought it was such a great idea to just draw up a contract and everybody signed a contract and how the home would be utilized. Unfortunately for them, they got a home where she got the whole first floor and the 2 rooms upstairs. So it worked out perfectly. She stayed with them for she went there for 2 years. She ended up staying 6 years with them. She stayed until they buy their other home. They sold that home a couple years ago and bought a new home for the family. Before I get there, I'm bringing this in because I want you to know there's always sacrifices that can be made. You guys hear Carolina talk about that. If you got a spare bedroom and you could rent it out, rent it out. Yeah. We all want a lot of privacy and we all want to be on our own. And I'm not going to knock you if that's you, but I'm telling you, if it's going to suit a purpose for a short time, and you know you can do it, why not? Why not? A, she didn't need to take a second job because the mother-in-law's there. B, he didn't have to feel that he couldn't be fully present in his studies and when it was co-op, in his co-op. And he didn't feel like he was locked in because he went, by the way, he did 3 of them before he settled on one. Because the first one was giving a little bit of, you know, a little bit of money, nothing much. And the second co-op, even though they were paying him great, they weren't moving him forward. And so we also had to revisit that. And he had to leave again and found a third placement that really did what he needed. And sometimes you gotta be willing. You gotta be willing to say, that it's not working out. And not because I need the money, and not because they're gonna train me well, but because it's suited for myself, my wife, and what my life is gonna look like after this. And he had recognized that. He understood that. This is sacrifice I'm talking about, but for a good, and it's not forever. It's for a couple of years. If you want to drink real great coffee, you're gonna have to carry it in a flask. You can't stop at Timmy's or Starbucks. You know, that's a treat. Every time you decide to go, you have to plan to go. And it's okay. You're not robbing yourself because later on, you can buy how much coffees you want. You just gotta, you know, you're gonna buy how much you want. Now, you know, so let me talk a little bit about this. They're in a better headspace as a couple. They're in a better headspace. Their mind and soul, they have been trained to understand when there's a problem in the family, there's always a solution. And that they can come together as a couple and bring in the in-laws if need be to have a conversation to get to the place that they want to get to. And also understand that it mightn't take a week or two. It might take a year. It might take 6 months. But it's okay because here is where I want to get to. And it's a possibility. You know, I love Anna's journey. Not because it was just smooth all the way. No. There was a lot of topping up. There was a lot of reinforcement. There's a lot of times she wanted to give up. I'm telling you all of this because whether you're here with us or on the replay, is that everybody, no matter how great life is, as we're seeing it, has had those mucky, mercury twists and bends. And I want to give up. I don't want to do this anymore. But just picking up that happiness plan and seeing what our roadmap is leading you to. You know, when you're worried, when you're frustrated, when you don't know what else to do. Like, I need to look at this plan. And then once you are moving along in that plan, your job is write a new happiness plan, a new roadmap, because there's new things that you want to come into your life. They knew they needed the 4 years for him to finish school, to have a child. And they waited to have the child because they couldn't take something else on their plate. So that was their journey. Everybody's journey is different. They knew they needed that time. Right?
So the happiness plan gives you the roadmap, which gives you some peace of mind, and you're not all stressed out about what's happening or what's coming up, or there are no surprises because there was a plan.
There's a plan. And any surprise do come up, you can handle it.
Yeah.
You can handle it because you know, if something comes, you say, okay, so I need a week to do this. You can get back on the road, as Terry was saying earlier, because the plan is in place. So you get back. So I missed a week. It was my downtime. I needed a break, but you get back on the plan. And when you say you're finishing up on that plan, don't wait until it's done. You start your new plan because it gives you new energy. You're excited again. There's new things that you're going towards. You know, we get excited when you buy a shoe, or if you're a makeup person, or you buy a hat or a bag. this is good stuff to get excited about because that was expense.
So we need to start getting happy about the happiness plan, or get excited about the happiness plan. And Coach Karen, I would like, maybe that's a workshop, webinar, or something where you can talk to us about the happiness plan. Because yes, we can do our little thing that we do here on Wednesdays or whatever, but that's not enough to get us strengthened.
Con, what you do, and so yeah, you want to get excited. And they're excited about it. They're excited about it. When I got a call about 2 years ago, we're 2018. No, I lied. 3 years ago. My child is 3 now. When we got a call like 3 years ago, saying we have bought our dream home. I am not going back to work. I am working with my husband. He's opened the business, and I am running things from the office. Some days I'm home, and some days I'm not. That was the sacrifice to get there. They're in their happy place doing the happy dance.
Because of the happiness plan.
Of their labor.
The happiness plan led to the happy place where they could do a happy dance.
I tell you. And everybody's searching for this happiness. I want to find my happiness. But to find it, don't you have to search? And while you're searching, you're supposed to have fun along the way, but you got to follow something. You can't get up this morning and say, well, I'm not sure if I want to stretch or do some sit-ups. It can take you a whole hour deciding which way to go.
but you hit on something. In order for you to be happy, there needs to be a plan. See, you're not, because people are, I'm just looking for happiness, and we can get really, what does Robin call it? Woo-woo. We can get really mystical and stuff. But in order to be happy, you're going to need a plan.
You do. You do. It's, if somebody was listening and said, you wouldn't get into the plane and say to the pilot, oh, take me anywhere you want to take me.
Exactly.
He had a plan. He knows where he's going. He called it to the tower and all that sort of stuff. And yet, when most of us open a business, that's why I said there's some people who sell things. There's some people who have a business. And entrepreneurs smack that in the middle. And sometimes lots of entrepreneurs do not want to get over to the business run of things because that's the serious part. That's the truth. The serious part is the business. The entrepreneurial part is the fun. I'm enjoying this. This is so much fun. I love fun people. Let me just tell you, I love fun. But you cannot only stay in the fun zone because you're not going to last. You're going to just jump, and then you just start naming yourself. I'm multi-talented, I'm multi-creative, I'm multi. That is true. All of us are. You're not the only person. All of us here are, and if you tell me you aren't, you just haven't looked into it. We all are. But for you to have a business, and still be entrepreneurial in a sense, because you're still excited and loving it, you're gonna have to do some boring stuff. That's the boring stuff. Happiness plan, personally, then for your business, watching those numbers. Don't have to be set up in the accountant kind of way, but it just has to be in a place where you can see it. I sell so much units a day. Check. It costs so much on the units. Check. At the end of May, I made X amount of dollars. Check. This is the expense. Check. But you got to know the expense. You got to know what it costs to run the business, to know you made a profit. All that's going in is columns. Don't worry with where, that sort of stuff you can leave for your accountant, but it has to go in a column that makes sense for you so that you can see that happen. And if Anna and Murray wasn't willing to, for stakes and stakes, sit down and write out their happiness plan, feel really sad about themselves that they make some mistakes along the way. Yes, it wasn't pleasant, but it needed to be done. Because once it's done, it got corrected. So if they felt like having it, they simply said, how much coffee, Karen, say I can have this week? Oh, one. Well, I'm not having the other one.
So here's the thing.
And turned back out to the coffee shop because it wasn't there. And where was it? Right in her purse. So she can pull it up, look at it, put it back in the purse. That's it. Simple piece of paper. We had phone technology. It's just a simple piece of paper. He got one, she got one. Look it up. We're in April. This is how much coffee I can get, how much whatever. If it's not there, can't get it. I drive in, I drive back up. I can't have it. Maybe just the smell of coffee you need. Just drive in and have the smell and drive back up.
I got it.
So desired, you know.
Well, Tim Gillette said hello, and how are we? And we are
Tim.
Well. Tim, thank you so much. And you said something, Karen. I heard you might, and it might be a chapter for a book. You're going to have to forsake the steaks.
Oh, yep. That's good. You know, I
didn't realize.
Forsake the steaks to get what you want. You know, you're going to have to pull back on and not have everything you think you want in order to get what you really want.
Yep. That's a fact. That's a fact. That's a fact. This young woman I'm talking about had one leather coat from college, bought a second leather coat, and 2 pairs of shoes throughout the 4 years, other than the dress shoes. Does she love shoes? Let me just explain. She loves shoes. But when the shoes leave, it just left. So she bought 2 good pair of shoes, leather shoes, good pairs of shoes, and wore them. There's just some of the things that she had decided that is necessary. The working shoes, the shoes for casual wear, and anything else that was in the wardrobe already. No new purchases. But that's the beauty of understanding it's just temporary. Because now when you set up that new plan, it's like, I can allow myself so many shoes per month. I can go to the store and buy X amount of dresses per month because now it's in that happiness plan. Because you know how it's going to be paid for. You know what's going to happen. You understand these things. And I mean, those are good lessons because they're owning their own businesses. If they didn't have this discipline, A, they couldn't start a business. You know, B, she couldn't leave her job. Her job paid really good. But then to replace that salary, really and truly, it's where the business was at. It's a need, yes. So you have to understand all those things. So you got to be diligent on them. Thank God he didn't go into the police force, you know. His mom says it all the time, like, yeah, you wouldn't make the police officer anyway. He was just a kind of guy. That's a sweetheart. But police force probably would have gotten him too rough and tough. But I'm more kind of a softer nature kind of a person. Kind of person. But yeah, you know, she didn't want to do business. That was never her forte. A job, get a good pay, done. God sent somebody into her life who wanted to do business. And of course, into my life, because that's my forte. And you always get what's in your forte. You know, Carolina makes wonderful cover-ups. And the people who buys her cover-up, the fabrics are wonderful. They enjoy what she's giving them.
Yep.
Because she's not even selling them anything. She's giving them this wonderful gift of beauty and comfort. That's what she's giving them. It's like a gift to them. And they're rewarding her by paying for it. Because that's what we do, whether it's money or time. You reward people for the gifts you get. Reward God by praising him and being his glory. That's how it works. And Francine does the same. And she sells somebody's a house, you know, she listens to them, she knows what their needs are, and she went and she fulfilled those needs, she looks for them, and she takes it. She can't take them to every home because it's not suited for them. She has to know what they're looking for to take them to the right place. And then the two of them come together and have BizChicks where they help you from the ground up. If you know nothing, I'm not sure what to do, these ladies will take you through the pace. And if it feels slow, it's only because they want to make sure you get it. That's what BizChicks does. Yep. And they allow us, myself, you know, the lady on Thursday, Terry on Wednesday, and all such, you know, we come in and we share our geniuses, our expertise in what we do.
Yep.
But we get to do it because these ladies give us a platform to do it. Yes, I can have my own Facebook Live. Yes, I can go and do it. And I do. it's nice to be here talking with them.
It's nice having you here talking to us.
I'm really enjoying.
Because I'm loving the Hustle Chronicles, because it takes you take us on a journey of, now I feel like I know Anna. Girl, man, you did that, and not getting a loan. That, in order to have that type of mindset, and it is possible.
It is possible. It is possible. And I'm using her today because I do want people to know that, not everybody who come across my path, it's because they don't understand money at all or don't know anything about money. It's just sometimes that they don't know this other step. So that's why they're talking to me, right? They don't know this other thing that they can do. Or it's not even part of their thought process. Because when I go to somebody, because that's not my thought process. So they help me. Because no man is an island. We're an extension of each other. We need each other.
Yes.
So she needed me for something, and I would need her or whomever. Give me 1 minute. No wonder.
But people have different money stories, Francine.
Yeah.
And so sometimes we need an arbitrator, a negotiator, a coach, someone to arbitrate between the different philosophies.
Well, just like if you're going on a safari or you're going someplace and you don't know the terrain, you need a guide.
Yeah.
Don't step over here. Stay to the left. Duck. You need somebody who's been through and knows where to go.
Yeah. That's really it. That's really it. Because we have to not worry about shame and being too prideful. You could have pride, but don't be prideful. And that's what she had. She has pride, but she's not prideful. So cleaning up the floors and the garbage, that was a stepping stone to where she needed to be versus sitting at the desk and looking pretty. Hi, how are you? And making a date down for you in the book. And nothing's wrong with being a secretary, but if it doesn't fit in with your life and where you need to go, you need to go to the place that's going to get you to where you need to be.
Yes. So
that's the key. We already need to. I try my best. I mean, and if I don't, I take a step back to see, because, I can't see me at times. So I need people to say, hey, girl, we're to the right.
Exactly.
Yeah. And we all need somebody who can see where, we don't want to take a misstep or something. And that's why we're here. Don't be walking off over there. Nope. Come back.
You say it all the time, Francine. You need somebody to tell you when your slip is hanging. You can't always see when your own slip is hanging.
My grandmother used to say
that. Or either you walk into the restroom and your slip is all caught up in your pantyhose and stuff. Say something to somebody. Don't be just, don't let her walk down the street like that. Shoot, say something.
Exactly. For the people who don't know what is slip, I think all of us here know what a slip is.
Well, yes, a lot of us, we don't wear them anymore. The slip is the garment that goes under the skirt or the dress. So we've learned a lot today. I'm loving the Chronicles. The Hustle Chronicle. I'm enjoying, yes, and the slides, the visuals.
Keep them coming. We love
it.
And make sure you get it out on YouTube. We'll send you a copy so you can put this up on your YouTube page. But having the visual and then hearing the stories, Anna's story was good. Jenny's story last week was good too. So if you missed Jenny's story, you need to go back to last week's Hustle Chronicle. I will change the name on the YouTube
I'm
channel.
loving the Hustle Chronicles.
I love it too. It is going to be such a great book.
Yeah.
Each one is a chapter.
Each person's story
is a chapter.
Yeah.
And so it's just building itself as we talk about it.
Yep. And forsaking the stake.
All you're going to have to do is go get it, what do you call it, transcribed?
Published.
Great. Yeah, it's a great book.
Yes. And there's people that can help with that. Andra this girl that's working with us in BizChicks. She will help you with the self-publishing.
Yeah. And use your slides.
Yes.
Use your slides.
Are we using these slides, really?
Yes. I hope you can get rid of Jenny's slides.
Okay, and
no,
so
no,
here,
I have Jenny's. I have Jenny's and I have Anna's.
Okay, and this is what I went to the Apple store yesterday, and the lady, I took a class on art and stuff, and so I was playing with, we have the iPad Pro and the pencil. Mm-hmm. Their Procreate is the app. You can go in there and draw and just do your drawings and whatever, make colors and water and stuff. I was like, you'll see some stuff. I'm gonna put it up on Instagram. I was like, oh, I can actually sit down and play with my drawing. It kind of relaxes you and stuff. Yes, but I was saying that to say that you can do your slides of your people and do all the things that you want to do. And
what a breakup that would be from, because we're talking about money in the mind. When it's such a breakup in terms of, it just makes it more relaxed and people are not feeling, because finance just get people tense.
Yes, yes.
Oh my God.
And so now you can just take your drawing, take a picture with your phone and put it into a slide.
It just makes people so tense.
Or you can draw it on the iPad and already have it and put it in your slides.
In slides.
I'm just saying that we have tools now that we did not have before, and I'm sitting in there, and she's like, "Oh, that's great. I'm drawing oceans and all kind of stuff," and I'm like, "I haven't drawn or sat down to draw in a long time."
Wow!
But we have the tool.
Can't draw.
Well, I'm with you. I can do sticks real good, but if you sit down, long enough, you begin to, it comes out of you.
So you're saying we have to allow the process. Like eyes used to be my thing. Like I could have drawn a good eye, or I can draw an Archie. Like if I'm watching the Archie book, like I can actually draw the Archie, right? That was about it.
We just don't.
People were my forte.
But we just don't sit still long enough to do a drawing. Because we jump up and we got to go run and do something. I'm just saying.
I think we can all relate to stick figures.
Yeah, because I can draw a stick, but stick figures are big too because you get it. It's like, okay.
And I'm paying attention to where we're going with this.
Yeah.
I'm not distracted.
So I'm just saying, learn your tools. But get that happiness plan. Call Coach Karen. She'll talk to you more about the happiness plan, because the happiness plan will relieve a whole lot of stress.
A whole lot of stress. It's not to entrap you. It just frees you, like, you're like free as a bird. You're so free as a bird. You just got your happiness plan going. You just fulfill things in there. And if anybody's listening to this on the replay, and it won't be ready till next week, but I just want to offer like a free little handout where you can go in and track your happiness plan. I think you should put one together just so that they can go in and just fill it in for themselves. And
so if you want that, you might need to go over to Coach Karen's group, the Money Mindset Island Girl Hustle. Go to the group Island Girl Hustle, and she'll post it over there. Follow Coach Karen everywhere: Twitter, Instagram, on Facebook, YouTube. I'm sure it's coming up, but go follow her.
YouTube. I have Island Girl Hustle everywhere. So YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest is the only one I gotta go change. But the ones that I rarely go do stuff on. It says.
Well, I am down with HPT. My happiness plan tracker. I'm looking for it. Okay.
I'm looking forward to it too as well, because I'm looking forward to having something that there's a guideline for the plan that I want. You see, a lot of people want happiness, but we're telling you, you need to plan for your happiness.
Yeah.
It's not.
It is true.
Happiness does not just happen.
No.
Oh. That's a good one.
Ooh. Happiness.
I want to see that on Instagram.
One of us gonna put it out there, but I'm about ready to do something with it. Happiness does not just happen.
Yeah, you tweet that out, girl. Tweet that out.
It requires a plan.
Had this thing talking about money, and she said, "This is what I said. You could be a millionaire in 27 days." And she said, "Oh, she freaked out. She was like, what are you talking about?" And then somebody else in the thread started talking about it, and he's like, "Hey, this is what you got to do," and people argue. So she said, "Because you double it every day. That's the idea. Same thing like the $52 that you start with for the year, and you work with them. Usually January, tons of those come out, and people have different variations, telling you how to make 10,000, how to make 20, how to do whatever. But this is the doubling of the money." So somebody contacted me, and I started doing this test about. Since I had this tool on me, I went and developed it for my own liking, and I started doing this testing anytime I talk to people about money, and just watching the comfort zone, the comfort level, really dictates how we behave with money. And that is, how would you feel if you could make $12,000 a day? She was just flipping out.
Well,
because in your head, your mind start asking you, what would I have to do? Because that's a question you would have to ask yourself.
Yep.
And if you just have never had that conversation, that's all it is, a conversation. Mm-hmm. Your mind start telling you that you got to either be a drug addict or something. It don't tell you the good stuff. It just tells you stupid things. And even if you never speak it out loud, it tells you that, so you freak out, and then you wouldn't find the answer. All I'm saying is, if you ask yourself that question often enough, you will answer it intelligently over time. The first couple of times, it's going to give you stupid, random answers. You're going to be shooting yourself in the foot. But then once you ask it continuously, it's going to give you a variety of ideas, and your job is to develop plans for those ideas. Don't go do them, just develop plans for them and see which one you're leaning towards more and pursue it a little bit. Spend a little hour a day on it. Spend 2 hours if you have. But spend a little 50,
Okay, you're going to have to come back and teach that one. You're going to have to come back and teach that because I think it's really a good test.
Yeah, it is a good test. The minute she passed, the specific person, the minute she passed, I said how much money you were able to make an hour. She told me, and then she's telling me how much she don't think she can make. Like, she told me, and then she doubled up on it. Mm-hmm. So she was okay to make $25 an hour, maybe even $35. But if she was going to make $60 an hour, she wasn't sure that she could make it, but she'd like to make it because then it would sustain her. But the thought of making $60 an hour was just beyond her. It wouldn't allow in her head, because it sends her to the place of, oh my God, how many starving people out there? I'm taking away from somebody else.
Wow.
And, this is not what God wants for me, and the whole 9 yards. But she didn't even know that she's doing it until we had the conversation.
Wow.
That's what's happening. That's the thing. Like, you don't even think of it until the conversation comes.
Listen, I had a conversation with the lady. She was saying, I want to start this business, but I don't want to charge too much because I want everybody to be able to have it. And God doesn't want me to, have too much. I'm like, wait.
She just backed herself right out. God is trying to, it was just the same thing that we just talked about, the fire, trying to get the job at the police force, but you want to have a business, but okay, so the door is shutting on the police force. Now you want to have a business, and God is telling you the success is already guaranteed, but you're talking yourself out of it. Just talking yourself right back to zero.
Yeah. So the police force don't pay. Your highest pay you get here, you're probably at like 32. To get to 35, that's after a couple years. If you're at 45 an hour, You're not just a police officer. Let's just say.
So,
and when tax come out of all of that, you're probably lucky if you take home 29 or 27.
So what are you talking yourself out of? I'm asking everybody watching live and listening to the replay. What are you talking yourself out of?
Yeah. You, I like that. What are you talking yourself out of? Man, this was good. Even though I said so myself.
It was. And it is.
All right, ladies.
And Coach Karen will be back with us next Wednesday, every Wednesday, 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. on the East Coast time. And y'all will have to figure it out if you're anywhere else in the world. But come on back. Follow us over on YouTube and wherever, BizChicks everywhere. And we look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Robin will be talking to us about health and wellness. And then we're talking tech on Friday. And we will see you again. So thank you so much. And make sure to, Terry.
Don't forget to go to the front of your own line, people.
Best advice ever.
I'm telling you. Thank you again, Coach Karen. See you later, friend.
All right, bye-bye.
See you, everybody. Have a great day.
You too.